Hello and welcome to week 7 here in Psych Seminar. And what we're beginning is a sequence of chapters where I use the old adage of education of reading, writing, and arithmetic. And these 3 chapters have to do with reading peer-reviewed literature, writing in APA style, and then a little bit about statistics and mathematics as they apply to the field of psychology. So here in chapter 5, we're on our first R, reading, and all there is an assignment. The assignment is to find a peer-reviewed article. First, you have to know what a peer-reviewed article is. Peer-reviewed article is one that is written by experts in the field. It is published in academic journals, which are not for general readership. They are meant and they are written for other professionals in the field to share their findings in order to move the field forward one article at a time. So these articles use language, they use numbers, they use format, of which their target audience is familiar with those things because they're in that particular field. You, as a person coming into the field of psychology, are not necessarily completely versed. In fact, I'm pretty sure you're not completely versed in the language that is used to describe things in the field of psychology. So here's an opportunity to simply look at the challenges associated with reading this kind of material, because even as a student of psychology, you're compelled to go to this source as your primary, most valid, most reliable source for psychological data. All of us do that. That's our go-to place. What does the research say? What does the science say? That is what the field of psychology does. Now, there are ways in which we can access that information in a lighter way. We can look at magazines like Psychology Today or the APA's Monitor in Psychology, which you can get for free. And what they do in those publications is they look at that research, and a reporter, an expert writer, translates that into a compelling message with a different set of language. So that's a great way to experience that. It's how I experience most of my consumption of literature. Psychology Today, Scientific American Mind, that's a really good journal, and the Monitor in Psychology. For my expertise areas, I subscribe to the professional journals. So I subscribe to Applied Psychology, History of Psychology, The Teaching of Psychology. These are journals that I receive personally, that I read through, skim through when I find things that are interesting. I look at them and I read the source articles. Now, to do this, you have to look at different topics. So in the course book, I introduce you to controversial topics. You can look in any of your textbooks or even in the course books to look at topics and look them up. And what you will be doing is using our library's online database called EBSCO to find articles that meet the criteria of being peer-reviewed. So you're going to screen out all the magazines and all the newspapers. And for the basis of this assignment, you will also check a little box called full text. So it'll be articles written by professionals, published in journals that we can access for free, and we can read the whole thing. It'll come down as a PDF. And so that's what you're going to be looking for. Now, the idea is to write a paper. Sorry, I read the wrong line. You're going to be doing a presentation. You're going to be doing a slideshow that introduces me as I watch this slideshow to this article and the different parts of it. So you're going to be covering the abstract, which is a summary of the entire article, the introduction, the delineation of the hypotheses, the actual methods, how did they go about gathering data, the results, that's where you get your statistics, the discussion, where they bring it all together at the end, and then the references, that you will be providing an examination of your experience of that article. You're not going to be necessarily summarizing the findings. What I want you to do is talk about your personal experience with each one of those sections. You might, in your narration, you might get to that in a bit. You may talk about the content of the article, but the slideshow is really about your experience reading it. Now, I said narration. Now that means if you're using Keynote on your Apple device, or you're using PowerPoint on your Apple device or otherwise, both of those tools have the ability to record your voice. So you go into that functionality, learn how to do that, look it up on YouTube. It's very simple. All of them do it very well. And you can actually start your slideshow and talk to your computer and record your voice over each one of the slides. Now, when you're constructing a slideshow, I want you to pay attention to a very important communication quality point about when you are making slides. You don't want all kinds of text on the slide, and you don't want to be simply reading what's on the slide. That is not acceptable. You have bullet points on the slide, you might have an image, you might have just very sparse information on the slide, and you expound upon that in your narration. That doesn't mean you can't write a script and be reading that script while you're recording. Totally, that's okay. Many people do that. You can write out the script of what you're going to say, but you're not reading the slide. So you're going to go into the functionality of Keynote or PowerPoint, and you are going to record your own voice narrating each slide. You then send me the original document. I'm asking you not to convert this to PDF. You send me the original document as a Keynote file, as a PowerPoint file. If you're using Google Slides, I believe it can do it, but you're going to have to export it as probably as a PowerPoint and make sure that it works. That's not the tool of choice. So you'll be sending me a Keynote slideshow or a PowerPoint slideshow with your narration. I get it, and what happens on my end is I open it up and I have the opportunity to play the recorded, and I just play it and I sit back and it just plays the whole thing like I'm listening to you speak, and that's what I want. That's what I want you to send me. I want you to send me that presentation. So this is part of not only reading, but speaking, oral communication. This is giving a speech. You're free to write down your text, like I said. It's free to read that. Be clear, be professional. If something goes wrong, start over. Don't send me, just like with a document, you don't want to send me things with mistakes that you know are there. Just start over. You don't have to talk forever. The whole thing could be over in 3 or 4 minutes. But this is an opportunity for you to do an oral presentation without an audience. You're just sending it to me. And that's what I'm expecting for this particular assignment. So you're going to be experiencing the reading of a peer-reviewed article, and you're going to be experiencing how to create a slideshow about that article, covering each component, how to do a narration, and how to send that to somebody, me, through the Dropbox. And so lots of skills to learn in this particular section of the class. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you import images into your slideshow, sometimes those can really make the file size large, and you might run into problems uploading that particular document. Keynote and PowerPoint have the ability to dramatically reduce the file size. It's a function within the menu system to reduce the file size. Again, depending on which version of the software you have and which one you have, it's in different places. So again, YouTube comes to the rescue. Look up or just look up on the web, how do I reduce the file size of PowerPoint? How do I reduce the file size of a keynote? And what it does is it compresses the images. And so the images are usually the ones that take up a lot of space. Your voice really doesn't take up a lot of space. That will not make your file really, really huge. So that's an exciting, adventurous assignment for this particular week. So if there's any questions about that, please do reach out and ask me about those. And need any help with that, I'm certainly willing to help and guide you with that. But take a stab at it. Do the searches to learn how to do this. Use the librarians. Again, reach out to our librarians if you have questions about using our databases. I very strongly recommend that you familiarize yourself with that tool. You will need it in other classes where I call upon you to do some research, and you will definitively need it when you take research methods and statistics. So, that said, have a great week. Have a great week exploring both the experience of reading professional articles and the joy of creating a presentation and a speech. I hope you're looking forward to both of those, because I certainly am. So I'll talk to you later. Have a great week.